Bjorn is back in town. I'm sorry. Bjorn is back in town, and this go round, he's not accidentally murdering nearly as many people as he did in the first season of the German Netflix crime comedy Murder Mindfully. So should you add season 2 to your binge list? Bjorn seems to have his life under control. He has internalized the principles of mindfulness, quit his stressful job as a criminal defense attorney, and started his own business. He spends more time with his daughter Emily, argues more mindfully with soon-to-be ex-wife Katharina, and has added an unusual responsibility to his career as the legal representative of 2 mafia clans. But despite this bizarrely harmonious balance, Bjorn is plagued by inner turmoil and a loss of control. Why can't he enjoy all this? Season 2 continues the unexpected adventures of Bjorn and his surprising show-stealer employee, Sasha, as they're running a daycare and trying to keep up the facade that a crime boss is no longer able to send out messages to the gang. You know, him being dead and all. Well, Season 1 was a huge surprise. It was darkly comedic and had way more heart than I anticipated. So much of the comedy came about because we'd watch Bjorn get himself into some sort of crazy situation, with the resolution often being that he inadvertently kills somebody. And just so you know, there's much less of that this time around. And I'm not saying there aren't any entertaining deaths, but we're not treated too much in the way of violence or murder. The story also stays more stationary in its location. Almost all of what occurs takes place in the building that houses the daycare, Bjorn's apartment, and a basement that can be used for any nefarious dealings that might arise. Now, once more, we have 8 episodes, and they're around 40-ish minutes, give or take. They do go by rather quickly, but as we watch Bjorn delve more into his psyche and gain an understanding of what makes him act out the way he does, the story has this tendency to veer off into the psychological rather than the thrilling crime aspect. And that's not a completely bad way to progress, but it did begin to hamper a little bit of the engagement with the story, especially with how much less dark comedy was present this season. Now, there still are several moments that are going to make you chortle, you maybe even laugh out loud briefly, but this season seems as though it was more intent on focusing on drama, maybe in an effort to be more mature in the storytelling rather than rely on comedy to hook viewers. But that was a lot of the charm for Season 1. The comedy, mixed with the horrified reactions of Bjorn, made him someone who felt human with normal responses to these extraordinary circumstances. Now, he's just shed all of that and become a much more hardened personality, someone fully callous and scheming instead of only being somewhat shady. The mystery aspect for this is still present this season, bringing in extortion, menace, and the fear of the unknown just simply to Bjorn's facade of someone else still calling the shots. Nicole, the detective, who seems to always be just a few steps short of catching Bjorn in his crimes, is still present for the show, but is now relegated to more of a frustrated cop who's shoved into the corner by superiors, which then greatly reduces her involvement in the overall arc. You can almost feel sorry for the character because she's so close to proving things only to be thwarted over and over again. I think probably my biggest disappointment for Season 2 is the lack of use of Sasha. He's the hired gun and muscle that was terrifying and dangerous last go-round, only to then reveal this huge, mushy interior that's caring and compassionate, while still being deadly. Now, this season, he's underutilized in so many ways, and he's still present to assist Bjorn, but it's as though the story has made him an afterthought, utilizing him more as a prop and background assistant rather than allowing his complex personality to highlight and then contrast with Bjorn's. Now, if it sounds like I'm conflicted with this season, it's because I am. I enjoy the show and the characters. The series still contains some twisted comedy that can make you question yourself a little bit, and then the story does hold on to arcs that create a little bit of tension and excitement. But despite all that, this didn't feel nearly as magical or as engaging as the first season. I don't know if it's because we're watching a character progression that is heading down a much darker rather than enlightened path, or if the writing has just altered the tone so the show is simply different from what it was. I still enjoyed it, but I am much less excited for where it might go. There's sex, no nudity, ton of profanity, and a lot of violence. I give Season 2 of Murder Mindfully 3 out of 5 couches. If you enjoyed the first season, give this one a go. Like I said, it's not bad. It's just not as great as it was promising to be. So what are you binging right now? Or maybe looking forward to binging in the very near future? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.